Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Crossing the Line. We're going to take a look at a story here from the post-millennial. Jewish students barricaded in Cooper Union Library by anti-Israel student protesters. They called police, but admin said situation was under control. Now, this has some rather disturbing ramifications. If you've seen any of the news and protests going on around the world at the moment, pro-Hamas protest, pro-Israel protest, pro-Palestine protest, you can see tensions are rising on a global scale. What seems to be a holy war of sorts, and I don't see it de-escalating anytime soon because the left and the right are whipped up into such a fervor at the moment. No one can see through the fucking trees and through the forest to see the trees. It's insane at the moment. There are people promoting terrorism in the streets of London. There's been a massive protest of over 100,000 people protesting for Palestine or Hamas. People waving ISIS flags or Muslim men down at the Sydney the Sydney Opera House chanting "Gas the Jews" and all sorts of disgusting things like that. And I don't blame anyone who is Jewish or Israeli at this point to be lashing out against these people. I mean, Israel had a horrendous crime committed against them, and all those innocent people were massacred. Whether or not Netanyahu kind of let it happen a little bit to give themselves a decent reason to go into the Gaza Strip, I don't know. That seems to be getting more plausible by the day. I don't know. But I understand where they're coming from. They are defending themselves completely, and there is no room for anti-Semitism and actual violent hatred against these people from 99% of the population of Earth. I don't get why all these people, especially these yuppie rich kids in America, think that they have the right to belittle, scare, and downgrade Jewish people, especially these kids who aren't even Israeli, they're just Jewish. So, but I completely understand where Israel's coming from. They got attacked, they got slaughtered and massacred, and they wanted to lash out in anger, and I reckon they will regret some of what they're doing right now. But I mean, it's hard to tell someone to calm down when the entire world is at their throat trying to kill them all the time. But we'll get into this story here from the post-millennial, and you guys make up your mind. Where do you think this is getting out of control? What do you think we should be done with these kind of people? Honestly, if this was happening to my kids, I would have gone into that school fully armed, and I would have got them out of there safely, because that is disturbing what these people are doing to these poor kids. Jewish students barricaded in the Cooper Union Library by anti-Israel student protesters. Yet on Wednesday afternoon, a group of about 50 students, many of them Jewish, were barricaded in the school's library while anti-Israel activist students banged on the door, screamed at them. Those anti-Israel activists who wore face masks or wrapped kefirs over their faces so as not to be recognised. One wore sunglasses, a hoodie and sweatshirts. Speaking to the post-millennial, one student said inside the library said that the pro-Hamas protest, which saw students banging on the door that she called sticks or cardboard chews to hold drawings, began after Jewish students planned to hold a vigil for those lost on October 7th mass attack on Israel. That, the student said, spurred the students who oppose Israel and support Hamas call for a ceasefire in the wake of their brutal attack on Israel, who hold a rally. The pro-Palestinian protesters told us that the people had a one-sided response and they wanted Cooper Union to take pro-Palestine action. There was a walkout planned by pro-Palestinian group. The student said the walkout was from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m, during which time Jewish students staged a silent counter-protest. Pro-Hamas protesters took their grievance to the president's office. The group said it had various specific demands. At that point, student told Post-Millennial, me and a couple of other students had a Zoom class. We went to the library to take the class. Some other Jewish students also went to the library to do work and talk about school. Then we heard this banging on the doors. We could see they were trying to get in. They had these sticks that were using to pound on the doors. Those sticks had been holding Palestinian flags. It is at this point the student said that librarians told them they had to lock the doors. The student could no longer focus on the Zoom class. Why were they after you? The post-millennial asked. You have to ask them, the student said. I would say because we're basically Jewish students. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. After they couldn't get into the doors, they started coming around to the windows where we were looking at the tables and making faces through the windows at us. We were locked in for about 20 minutes. The students inside the library were offered safe passage out through the space of the back door and passageways leading around the mob of students, but instead they chose to stay, wait for the students to leave, and exit through the front door. Good on them. Cooper Union president did make use of the back door exit, leaving the students barricaded in the library. They told us that there were these back doors to the basement so we could leave out. That way the president had left, and we told them they wanted to wait it out and walk through the front door, the students said. This they did, but not before calling the police. The students later learned they were told by the school administration that everything was fine and they were not needed. We called the police from inside the library because we felt threatened, and the police told us they couldn't come in because the school said everything was fine. Families outside the school called police as well on behalf of the students, but they never came. They never turned up. The students said campus security eventually came and cleared the area, but not before the students had stormed down the stairs towards the president's office to make their demands. The school said that the NYPD was there the entire time. Barricading of the students in the library followed 3-hour protests, which activists demanded that school's president, Laura Sparks, address the Israel-Hamas war and divest school assets from Jewish state. Jesus Christ. They're upset that a school isn't commenting on the ongoing war and war crimes in Palestine and Israel. They're upset that they're not picking a side. I think those kids who are banging on those doors and scaring those Jewish kids, they should be tried as terrorists. They are terrorizing people. They're using fear over this incident to scare and terrorize those kids. Imagine if that was your kids in there and they were after them for their skin color or their heritage or their religion or something like that. What would you, as a parent, do to those people trying to get to them? I know what I'd do. Take a look at this short clip here. Disgusting. Video shows terrorist supporters outside the library holding up anti-Semitic signage as a window of Jewish students, including one wearing a yarmulke, were attempting to study. According to the Post, Jack Novick, the former media director of the Israeli consulate in New York, on X, the Jewish students were trapped in the school library at approximately 5:15 p.m. My sources tell me that several Jewish students are currently locked in the school library as Hamas rally outside the Cooper Union building. Then the Jews were afraid and they're sitting in the library and then brought the protests inside and are barricading all exits. Tell you what'll work, a couple of 12-gauge fucking buckshot rounds through that door. He continued, police have been called 40 minutes and are afraid to get involved. Of course they are. Security locked the students in as they were and cannot protect the Jews. Right now, they share the video of the Jewish students standing in the lobby of the building as protesters could be heard banging on the doors and glass. About an hour later, Novick said the Jewish students were led out of the library through tunnels. I wonder, maybe they should have just hidden the attic. Hide them in the attic. Isn't that what we do in 2023? We hide Jews in the attic. Despite the video, official at Cooper Union minimised the incident in the statement. The library was closed for approximately 20 minutes while student protests moved throughout the building. Some students who were previously in the library remained during this time. All students have now dispersed. Resources from the school on how to deal with racism reference black students, but not Jewish students. Of course it does. Because if this was reversed and it was black students in there and a whole bunch of white people outside protesting, can you imagine the news stories coming out of that? Can you imagine the police response? Can you imagine we would have had a day of mourning? Obama would have come out, Queen Latifah. It would have been a whole smorgasbord of black actors and rich people saying that they stand with those poor, brave black people in that school, and this was worse than 9/11 and all this. This was worse than what Hitler did, and you know what the drill would be. But because they're Jewish students and they're white students, no one cares. The police don't even respond. They let them get locked in there by these terrorist kids. No one seems to be getting charged with any sort of even assault or anything like that. I think they should be charged with terrorism, honestly. That is what they were doing. They were terrorizing those fucking students. Democrat Mayor Eric Adams, we all love Eric Adams, don't we? Posted on the text saying we've been in contact with NYPD and the Cooper Union leadership about the situation unfolded on campus. The NYPD was sent to the presence at the scene, was coordinating with school security during the entire event, ensuring no one was injured. How are you ensuring that? You weren't even in the building. Well, the students at Cooper Union have a right to peacefully protest. Hate has no place in our city. Then lock them up. Democrat Governor Kathy Hochul, who wrote on the platform, state officials are in also close communication with the law enforcement regarding processes of the Cooper Union campus tonight. Anti-Semitism and all its forms of hate, intimidation are unacceptable and have no place in New York State unless you're a black person and you get to do what you want, apparently. Since Hamas massacred over 1,400 Israelis and injured thousands more October 7th, anti-Semitism on college campuses and throughout the US has been skyrocketing. No shit. Because the left-wing media stirs it all up and tells everyone to hate Israelis and hate Jews. It's the same thing they did to anyone who voted Republican or voted for Trump or anything like that. They just stirred them up and made people hate them. That's why people were shot and killed in the street over their political views, because the media whipped them up into a frenzy. I don't know about you, but these kids need to be taken out of that school. They need to move out of the city. Those Jewish kids, if you're their parents, you shouldn't be living in there. New York is lost. Go and move somewhere where you can defend yourself. Go and move somewhere where you have the right to defend yourself. And we saw that incident where that guy was strangled choked out on the train, ended up dying because he was threatening to kill everyone. And so a Good Samaritan stepped in, took him down, and the Good Samaritan was charged and is probably going to jail for the rest of his life over it. You cannot defend yourself in New York City. You will go to jail. But if you go and kill someone, shoot them dead on the street, and you're black or you're any sort of oppressed minority these days, unless you're Jewish, no one cares. They will blur your face on TV and pretend that you're white. Honestly. What do you guys think anyway? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.